Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Tom Schmidt with Ozarks First in Springfield, Missouri. And 27 years ago, a company called Weather Pages, the website weatherpages.com, did a survey or a study where they tried to determine which city has the most variable weather. Okay, that doesn't mean the most unpredictable weather, but the most variable weather. Who sees the most different types of weather phenomenon in their area, okay? And so this was kind of sparked by the question that we might hear all the time, or the statement, I guess, rather, is what it is. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and it'll change, right? So this study has looked to maybe kind of answer that question. Well, where is that true? Who has the most varied weather? Well, as it turns out, this study back in 1998 found that Springfield, Missouri, has the most variable weather in the United States. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So next up is Topeka, Kansas. Then you have Rochester, Minnesota, Wichita, Kansas, and then Columbia, Missouri also coming in at the top 5. And so something you may notice about those top 5 cities that have been determined to have the most variable weather types, they're all in the Midwest, right? They're all Midwest and the Plains states, very centrally located, the exception being maybe Minnesota. But Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma ranked high on this list as well. So did Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska. The Plains and the Midwest really came in top tier for, again, these rankings. And so Springfield topped the list with a score of 63.53 out of 100. Now that score was broken up into several different categories. Okay, so daily temperature differences, annual temperature swings, rainfall amounts, thunderstorm days. Within that category, there was a bunch of subcategories: hail, wind, tornadoes, flooding, drought, all those elements taken into account for the thunderstorm category. Big variations there with just one thunderstorm. And then also looked at snow totals, which within that the study looked at sleet and ice totals as well. And so you put all those things together, they scaled them out, and each category had a certain number of points. Like the thunderstorm category was on a scale from 0 to 10, right? And there was also the snow category also scaled out 0 to 10. So 10 points being the most points, 0 being least points, or therefore the least amount of variability, 10 being the most variability in that one category of weather phenomenon. So in Springfield, while we didn't necessarily top the charts in any one of the categories that this study looked at, we did consistently rank high on those categories. And so when you take the sum of all those categories, we get a total score of 63.59 out of 100, which was the highest score. And in this study, the higher the score, the more variability in the weather. It's a fascinating study. Their methods and what they found in a whole list of the cities ranked from most variable to least variable can be found on the website, and that link is in the web story below or on our website at ozarksfirst.com. You can find it there. All right, so here's an interesting thing, the top 15 cities with the most variable weather. You can see that according to their findings and the study done by weatherpages.com, the Midwest has the most variable weather. You can see a lot of the blue. That's the most variable weather cities. You can see a lot of blue across the Plains, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, seeing both, again, Springfield and Columbia coming in the top 5 for most variable weather types. And then the least variable weather, no one's surprise, is out on the West Coast, California. A lot of the least variable cities in weather are on the West Coast, specifically in California. 14 of the 15 least variable cities are in California. One of those is in Hawaii. So not much variability in the weather type once you get out to the west. And that was true also when you look down at the desert southwest. Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, all ranking considerably low on variability. Meanwhile, the eastern states and the northern plains, even like Montana and the Dakotas, Wyoming and Colorado, Texas, several cities there ranking in higher variability than elsewhere. So it was an interesting study. This is kind of their broad overview of how they did their rankings from the highest score in the purples and whites to the lowest score, lowest variability in the kind of the grays and the green colors. You can see there the green shaded areas, low variability off to the west and southwest, especially on the west coast coastline. Now, Florida, now this is an interesting one. Florida has a moderate to a low variability. Now, Florida sees a whole lot of weather, okay? They see a lot of thunderstorms. They see quite a few tornadoes. They have wildfires consistently down there as well, especially in drought years. And, of course, they see hurricanes, which brings a whole slew of other weather problems with it, flooding, heavy rain, hail sometimes, lightning, and all that kind of stuff down in Florida. What they don't have is big temperature swings. Rarely, very rarely, will any part of Florida see snow. They hardly ever see any ice. Cold air just not to be found in Florida. And most of the time, it's also sunny. All right. The Sunshine State is called that for a reason, right? So their variability is fairly low, despite them seeing high amounts of one category, such as thunderstorms. They lack in that variability in other categories as well. So Florida actually maxed out the thunderstorm category for points. They maxed it out at 10. They also had a score of, I think, 20 for one of the, I think it was actually the thunderstorm category goes to 20. So they maxed that one out. But they obviously didn't max out the temperature variability because temperatures are fairly consistent in a tropical environment like in Florida. So it was an interesting study. If you want to know more about the results and their findings and more information about Springfield and why we were kind of determined in this study to have the most variable weather in the country, go check out our website, ozarksfirst.com. You'll find the story there, and I'll also put it up on the Facebook page as well for folks to check out. So it's fascinating. If you've ever kind of asked yourself here in Springfield, well, man, it seems like we just see all kinds of weather. You're not wrong. I think there's a lot of truth in what you're thinking. If you've seen it, guess what? This study backs up those feelings you may have had. For Ozarks First, I'm meteorologist Thomas Schmidt from the Ozarks First Digital Desk. Happy Monday.